Anyone have any questions? So if you think of any questions, we're going to have kind of an open discussion.
Why do we chant the Radhe Radhe? Because at Hare Krishna temple, they don't like Radhe Radhe.
Okay, so we'll talk about that a little bit. And any other spiritual questions anyone has? Okay. Radhe Radhe. Jnanatimirandasya. Yes, everyone can sit and kind of stretch, relax. Okay. Breathe in deeply. Meditate on your inner spirit, yourself, your Atma. You've heard of the Atma? Atma is the inner spirit. The force, the power behind everything. And there's Atma and there's Paramatma. Paramatma means God. So there's the soul and what we call the super soul. The self and the self of the self. Think it like that. The self is you, and the self of yourself, that is God. The soul and the super soul. The spirit and the supreme spirit. Who wants to come in? Who wants to hear Harikatha? Should we let him in? What's going on? Hare Krishna. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. He can hear from over there. He can hear from over there. He can hear, Hare Krishna, we'll talk to you afterwards. It's like, what's going on? Everyone's having fun. Okay, so we'll meditate on our Atma. It said before we begin any spiritual activity, we should meditate on the self. Meditate on the self. All right? What are we? Who are we? Why are we here? What is our nature? How can we realize our spiritual nature? And we can breathe in together. Okay, let's breathe in together. Okay, relax, and we can breathe out and chant Om, okay? Oh, everybody, come on. Okay, meditate on your Atma, the self, and the Paramatma, the super soul. One more time. And come to a sense of inner peace. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, without peace you cannot have happiness. And without renunciation of attachment, you cannot have peace. So peace comes from renunciation of attachment to the fruits of your work. And when you can achieve this peace, then you can achieve happiness. Our Gurudev would say that the only way to be truly happy is to hear about Krishna, to meditate on the true nature of yourself and your relationship with Krishna. This is called Harikatha. This is the way to happiness. And when we learn to please Krishna, then we become supremely blissful, because this is the purpose of our own Atma. Shakti Parinambad, as expansions of the divine potency of Krishna, Sri Radha, coming from the energy, potency, part and parcel of the absolute truth. When we are endeavoring to please our beloved Krishna, realizing Krishna as our beloved, then we can relish ananda or bliss. We can realize this relationship with Krishna by chanting the Mahamantra. We can chant this together. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. By chanting this mantra, then you can realize your spiritual nature and your relationship with Sri Krishna. Krishna is the all-attractive, the reservoir of all beauty, pleasure, love. Anything beautiful in this world is just a tiny spark of the original beauty of Sri Krishna. Anything wondrous, anything amazing. Krishna said, this entire world, whatever beauty you see, whatever splendor you see, is simply a spark of my beauty, of my splendor. So we meditate on Sri Krishna, and that Krishna, he is Om. When we chant Om, this Om has three parts. Om begins in the throat, opens, comes into the cavity of the mouth and ends with the lips. Ah, this is creation. Oh, this is maintenance. Ma, this is devastation. The cycle of birth and death in samsara. But there's another force behind that. When we say Om, This is the beginning of the Bhagavatam. Janmadhyasya yatonvayari taratas charteshva vigyaswarat tene brahma hridhaya adi kavaye muyanti atsuraya tejo varimridam yata vinimayo yatra trishargo mrisha dhamnasvena sadha nirasta kuhakam satyam param dhimahi. I meditate upon that absolute truth, from whom all creation, maintenance, and devastation arise, and who is the source of everything, who is bewildering even to the demigods, because with our material mind and intellect we cannot understand what is beyond our senses. That is called adoksaja. So Krishna means adoksaj, beyond the realm of our mind and senses, beyond matter. Maya means what I try to measure with my material mind. That is God. Oh, where is God? Can I find God? Can I measure God? God is adoksaj, beyond your material senses. So how do you realize God? Atha Shri Krishna Namadi Nabhavid Grayam Indriya. The names of Krishna and Krishna are one. That's why when we chant Om, this is called the sound manifestation of Krishna, Om. But yet this is somewhat general. Why? All expansive. Everything is emanating. Om is the beej, the seed. But what manifests from that seed? Janmadasya yata, everything we see. The beginning of creation was the word. And within that word there's the potency to create. And Lord Brahma heard that sound, tapa, and performed austerity and chanted the Gayatri mantra. And by that power he created everything that we can see. That is all by the power of Om. But what is the source of that? Therefore Om is said, Ma, Krishna, Radha, and us, the living entities. Ma. So what is our nature? And what is our nature in relation to Sri Krishna and Sri Radha? Have you heard the name Radha? Yes? You've heard the name Radha? Have you heard the name Krishna? Okay, so everyone knows Krishna. So when I talk to people, I say, you know Krishna, but you don't know Radha? How is it possible? Do you know what it means? Radha? Radha means to love. And it's the name of Krishna's beloved. Vinay Prabhu?
Maybe they know the name Hare.
Do you know the name? Hare, okay. So Hare is a name of Radha. Radha is the name for Krishna's dearmost beloved. So in our philosophy, in our Vedic tradition, Krishna is not alone. God is not alone. Just like we are not alone here. We are never alone. Even when you feel alone, you're not alone. There's a story. There was a teacher, and he gave all his students a sweet, a candy, a sweet. And he said, go somewhere and eat it alone, in private. So all they went off, and one boy came back and said, teacher, here's your sweet back. What? Why didn't you eat it somewhere alone? He said, I went and I tried to find some place where I'd be alone. And then I realized God is everywhere. And so I came back to you, teacher. He said, very good. Then he gave him a star. We are never alone. There are three eternal substances. You are eternal. That's the first teaching in the Bhagavad Gita. Don't lament over things that are material, because you, the soul, are eternal. Okay, we can all say that. You are eternal. I am eternal. Krishna taught Arjuna. You want to hear the verse? Natvevaham jatunasam. Never was there a time when you did not exist. Can you wrap your mind around that? Never was there a time when you did not exist. Then Krishna said, nor I, nor everyone assembled here. Vrindavan, when did you come into being? Natvevaham jatunasam, never. You're always existing. This is the first principle of spirituality in the Eastern tradition. First principle of spirituality. Manjari, when were you born? A while ago. Yes. So in this incarnation, as Manjari, you have your birth date. But as a soul, you are eternal. It's the first principle of spiritual life. Any material substance is also eternal, but it goes through different stages of transformation. So this body came into being. Where was it before? Scientists say, oh, everything came from nothing, and now we are great scientists. Give me one free miracle and I'll explain away the rest. Right? So we say whether you're a theist or an atheist, you have to believe in miracles. Even if you're an atheist, you believe in miracles. Because here we are living and breathing. Right? We don't like to study spiritual life so much, but if you look into it, study the eye. Has anyone ever studied the eye? The iris? Study it, look into it. How amazing the power is. You think a camera is amazing? The power of your eye and the machine that's there. And you think, oh, that just happened to appear. Okay, if you believe it happened to appear by chance, that's a miracle. And if you believe in God, that's a miracle. So you're a living example of a miracle. Don't look for miracles outside. Look at home. Look in the mirror to find a miracle. You look divine. We had that in our last class. Oh, Shamasundar, you look divine today. Yes, the pure devotee who has realized sees everyone as divine. Vidya vinaya sampane brahmane gavihastani sunichayava svapakecha pandita samadharshina. A wise man sees everyone as spiritual beings, therefore they are divine. Yes? Atma, the soul is the most powerful substance. The spirit is the most powerful substance, and it is eternal. This matter transforms. The physicists say, matter cannot be destroyed. You can set off a bomb, what happens? Chaos, explosion. But it transforms from one state, from order to disorder. And then eventually it'll remanifest into another state. Transformation. So the soul is now trapped in the machine of material existence, or Maya, and we're going through the transformations of life. Krishna says this in the Gita, Yantra Rudrani Maya. Yes? Where were you before you were born? Krishna asked that to Arjuna. Where were you before you were born? And where will you be after you die? So why are you lamenting now for this material life? Don't lament. You are eternal. I am eternal. Therefore, you should realize your relationship with what is eternal. Nasato vidite bhavo. That which is not eternal, don't focus on. Nabhava vidyate sata. That which is eternal, you should focus on. That is spiritual life. Focus on what is eternal. Then you can immediately step on the heads of all your problems. Our Gurudev would say, problem solving, right? That's any kind of like media or anything, problem solving, right? You want happiness, so you go to a place to buy happiness. BC place, stadium, center. Go and buy happiness. See a concert, see a game. You want to buy happiness. You get a subscription for YouTube or a movie, Netflix. Why? You're trying to buy happiness. How are you going to buy happiness? You can quantify it? People should say, oh, happiness, this much. Right? Fentanyl, buy happiness. What's the cost? Death. Why? Go down the rabbit hole. Find what's at the bottom. Want to buy happiness? Drugs. Go down the rabbit hole. What's at the bottom? Death. Because it's temporary. That which is temporary does not lead to eternal happiness. That which is eternal leads to eternal life. So Krishna says in the Gita, Nasato vidyate bhavo nabhavo vidyate sata. Those who are wise can distinguish from that which is eternal to that which is temporary. This body is temporary, therefore it is not the soul. So you have a beautiful body because you have a beautiful soul. So the soul is manifesting different forms and features. Everything that we see is manifestation of the power of God. That is the soul, the potency, the consciousness. Everything that's here right now is present because of consciousness. Who built this building? Who made it? Krishna Prem made it.
Yes.
Someone like him. Very good person. Right? And who is the engineer and the architect? Shamasundar Prabhu. Right? Architect, engineer. Right? So material science says there's no architect, there's no engineer, but yet here we are. This is called philosophy for fools. Foolosophy. Sorry to hurt anyone's feelings. I'm not trying to speak in a mean spirit, but how can we make advancement in our life to be happy? You cannot buy happiness because it's your own property already. So you're looking. Where is happiness? Where is happiness? Where is happiness? Happiness is within, but it's not your property. It's realize your relationship to true spiritual life, your essence, your spirit, and the Supreme Spirit, God. So many different names. We're not here to argue about names. For us, we worship Krishna because Krishna means the all-attractive, the reservoir of all beauty, love, and sweetness. Janma Dasyata, that is Om. But our spiritual birth is also important. How do we get spiritual birth? Right? There's a process of spiritual birth. Yes? You want to be spiritually born? We talk about awakening, right? We should wake up. Wake up. That is spiritual life. Krishna teaches Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita how to wake up. You want to wake up? Yes? Manjri's already awake. Awake. Why? Serving devotees, Krishna consciousness. This is the waking state. In the Bhagavad Gita, in the Jaiva Dharma, Krishna, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, but this is the great sages are speaking, the only people who are truly conscious are those who are present in their consciousness and understanding supreme consciousness. Otherwise, you are asleep. So there's the caste system, and there's the Brahmin caste. But those who are not Vaishnav or are not realizing their relationship with consciousness and the supreme consciousness or Krishna, they're still asleep. Why? Because they identify as the body. Right? I'll speak for a few minutes on Varnashram. We were speaking about this morning. Anyone heard of Varnashram? So this is the Vedic system of thought. How do you order society? How do you organize society? Different stages of life and different, classes of people according to their nature. So Krishna says in the Gita, the caste system is bogus. Krishna says there's a natural process that you should support. Society and the government should support the natural process of people finding their purpose in this life, in the here and now, and their supreme purpose, spiritual purpose. So some people have a very artistic nature, so they become artists. Some people have a very nature of they like to help people and build things, right? So you do that as your engagement. You should find your dharma in your life. That's one side of it. That's according to this body. But you should find your spiritual purpose. To find your spiritual purpose, there's 4 ashrams. When we're young, we become students. In Vedic thought, that's called brahmacharya. Celibacy. Then you can become a student. First, you practice celibacy. That means you think like a monk, act like a monk for some time. It's recommended the first 25 years of your life. You'll think, that's extreme. 25 years being a monk? Western culture, 10 years, 15 years. I don't know. But, okay, something like that, right? So, we should practice student life, then we practice householder life, right? We raise a family, we do our work, we do our dharma, we take care of each other. Then, after the age of 50, we retire from worldly life and we practice spiritual life exclusively. Then at 75, we completely renounce everything and simply discover our spiritual purpose, focus entirely on our spiritual identity and purpose, realizing that. That's called the Sannyasa ashram. If you have no desire for material life from a brahmachari stage, celibate stage, as a monk, student, then you directly can become sannyas. That's according to our Vedic teaching. However, the purpose of Varnashram is to realize your spiritual nature and your relation with Krishna, because that is eternal. Everything else is temporary. So you give time for temporary duties, but you should give time to your eternal duty. That's in your best interest. Krishna says in the Gita, Karmanyevadikaraste, you have the qualification for work. Do your duty, right? According to your nature. What is your nature? Find some activity. And engage in that activity to take care of yourself, take care of your family, your loved ones, okay? Good. But there's one other thing about Varnashram. When we're young, our parents take care of us. When we're old, society or our parents we take care of right? Our children take care of us. When you're young, your parents take care of you, right? Anyone have parents here? Right? Right? Everyone's got parents. Your parents took care of you when you were young, right? They raised you. Now they say in American society, it takes like a few $100,000 to raise a kid sometimes. A couple $100,000. I have friends who, more than that. Why? Because private school, I know friends who put the kids in private school, $100,000 each. Right? So you're spending millions of dollars on your kids, and then when you're old, they're supposed to take care of you. But what about the middle stage of life? So 40 years of our life we're taken care of by others if we live to old age. Right? 60, 70 to 90. We're going to be taken care of by society or by our children or by our parents, 40 years of our life. So what's the middle 40 years for? From 20 to 60, what's the purpose of our life? Seva parama dharma. Service is the highest dharma. So through our life, we should serve, take care of our families, but also try to serve society. That is dharma. But Western society doesn't understand that. Therefore, we're always chasing happiness and exploiting each other, trying to buy happiness from each other. All our relationships are based on that. What's in it for me? Relationships should be what's in it for you. That's guru and disciple. What's in it for you? Gurudev came to the West and he said, I have not come to take anything from you, I've only come to give. So we should understand that now we're not finding happiness because we're finding and looking for happiness for ourselves. When you try to serve and please and give happiness to those you love, then you always find happiness. You may be having a bad day. We were talking about this the other day. A dog may be having a bad day. But when it sees you come home from work, it jumps at you and wags its tail and smiles. Why? Because it's trying to make you happy, and it's happy to see you. The dog is happy to see, oh, right? Anyone have a dog here? Right? It's so happy to see, oh my God. Loses his mind. You can go away for 10 minutes and you come back and it's like he hasn't seen you in a year. They say dogs have very short memories. They're so happy to see their owner because they have love and they want to please. See, he's waiting. He's like, oh, I want to come in. I want to make you happy. So our nature as spiritual beings is to try to serve others and give happiness and ultimately water the root of the tree. That is Krishna. So I didn't come to lecture anybody, but I'm here to hear myself, the teachings of our lineage, of our gurus. And remember this, that we are here to become blissful. But if you want to be happy and blissful, you have to understand reality and the predicament we are in. And understand why, and understand what to do, how to get out. What is our goal, and how to get there. Okay? So Krishna says, we are meant to be happy. Amritasya putra. Our nature is to be happy. So sometimes I talk with people and they say, I have this problem, that problem, that problem. I said, do you want to be happy? Yes. Are you going to exactly do the exact same thing you're doing the last time that made you suffer? Yes. Right? We have an ashram in New York and we welcome anyone to come. And they talk and they say, oh, I'm miserable, I'm suffering so much, I'm depressed. And we say, okay, let's talk about it. We're here to help you, support you. So, are you willing to do something to change your situation? Or are you just going to continue what you're doing and blame everyone else for the reason that you're not happy? You like to blame everyone else for your own problems, and you don't want to change your situation, so you're going to stay miserable. But you are meant to be happy. That's the teaching of the Vedas. Amritasya putra. You are children of bliss and immortal life. We are spiritual beings. We are eternal. So why are we suffering? That is called samsara. Jai Rupa Raghunath Prabhuji ki. Wow, I didn't know you were going to come, Prabhuji. Please, Vrindavan Prabhu, bring him a seat. Bring him the seat. Put it back there. Haribol Prabhu. No, give him a chair. Senior devotee. Give him a chair. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. This chair, this one. Jai. Hare Krishna. You drove all the way to see us, Prabhuji, to give you a shelter, your mercy. Haribol. Just you came?
No.
Oh. Have a seat. Have a seat. Put it on the side, not behind the camera. Hare Krishna. Very senior devotee. Haribol. Please sit. Be comfortable. Give him a drink, some lemon juice, lemon ginger. Take a little bit. Bring just after you can drink, no problem. Okay, so we're talking about our Srila Gurudev's teachings. Sit down now, okay? All right, so I'll finish shortly and then we can have questions, okay? But I'm trying to give some ideas that can help us become Happy, live a fulfilled life. This is a lesson for everyone. It's not that, oh, you're a devotee of Krishna or you're not a devotee of Krishna. Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita for everyone. Krishna spoke the Gita for everyone. The Vedas are for everyone. The Upanishads are for everyone. So these are a few different important topics. I want to speak a little bit about Varnashram. People say nowadays, it's very popular in our Krishna conscious society, they say, oh, we need to make more farms. More farms. That is Varnashram. Having a farm is Varnashram. And Raya Ramananda Prabhu spoke to Mahaprabhu, said, Varnashram is the goal of life. He never said building a farm is the goal of life. He said Varnashram. What is Varnashram? We're going to talk about this more. It's going to be a recurring theme. Varnashram means Krishna praying, prepare for sannyas. That is Varnashram. Indra Mohan, prepare for sannyas. Right? Maximum, I'll give you 40 years. And then you take sannyas. Okay? That is Varnashram. Right? Shama Priya, right? Preacher. Varnashram.
5 years.
5 years.
In 5 years, when my youngest is
And taken care
old
of.
enough.
Yes, no problem. But Varnashram means Vinay Prabhu is already sannyasi. Because Rupa Raghunath Prabhu, right? Sannyas is important, but sannyas means service to Krishna, to your Atma, and to society. Right? We've been talking about that. The middle age of life is not just for self-gratification, it's for service. That will make us happy. You're serving your family, your wife, your children, and helping, so you're happy in that. Right? You're not going to be happy every day, but if you're doing it for your daughter, you're doing it for your wife, your children, you have a son and a daughter, or just son and a daughter, right? Who's 5 and 11, right?
Yeah, younger son.
Right? So when they're happy, do you get happy? Sometimes? Okay. But the secret to happiness is in service to those you love. But for us, it's described that we should realize our relationship with God or Krishna and realize that and serve that principle, and then we'll be always happy. That's the teaching of the gopis. The gopis are always happy because they're always endeavoring to please their beloved Krishna. And so they're happy whether they're happy or not. Right? That's how I try to stay happy. Even if I'm not happy, because I'm trying to please my guru, I'm always happy because I know he's pleased if we're trying to please him. How are we pleasing him? By realizing our own self and our own relation with Krishna. So pleasing our guru is actually self-service. Right? Like you go to a gas station, it says self-service. But we need an assistant to realize our relationship with Krishna. That is guru. Someone who helps us realize our relation with Krishna. But then he says, you have some work to do. So what is the real farm? Varnashram isn't farm system. It's spiritual life, cultivation, development of our spiritual life. Because when we talk about Varnashram, we just say, I need a farm. I know, we had a big farm, and our Gurudev came and he shut it down. We had tons of all the vegetables. We have 12 acres of farmland. But we were so busy, we didn't have time to go see Gurudev. So we shut it down so we'd have time to go see Gurudev. And time to focus on real Varnashram. Nowhere in Scripture does it say Varnashram is building a farm. Show me anywhere in Scripture where it says Varnashram is building a farm. That's part of Varnashram. Maybe 1-2%. But the main part of Varnashram is the 4 orders of life, from brahmacharya, grihastha, household life, to retired life, to sannyas. That is Varnashram. That is Varnashram. Everyone should adopt full spiritual life. Okay, so no more of that, don't worry. I'm only mentioning that because people say, Varnashram, 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 build a farm. Show me in Shastra where it says that is Varnashram. Spiritual life isn't farming. But spiritual life is cultivating your soul, the garden of your heart. The garden of your heart, you should cultivate that garden of your heart. And then according to your dharma, you engage in activities. That is Varnashram. If you're an artist, be an artist. That is Varnashram. Right? If you're a teacher, be a teacher. If you're teaching yoga, teach yoga. That's Varnashram. You teach yoga, right? Yoga teacher training?
I have it, yeah. I'm not
Okay.
a teacher, but I don't really teach yoga.
Vrindavan Prabhu, he's following Varnashram because he's always doing according to his dharma. He's serving Krishna and Guru. So that's Varnashram. Okay, so we have our duty. I know, because Indra Mahaprabhu is perfectly following Varnashram. Right? You're doing some service to others because it makes them happy. You're doing some service, right? So it's good. Your purpose in life is service and love. That will make you happy. So our mission is called Bhakta Bandhav, friendship and love for everybody, especially for Guru and Krishna. So this is our message. How to be happy is you find it within, and you find it through service and relationship with Krishna. And our Gurudev said you cannot be happy unless you hear Harikatha. So hearing about our spiritual nature and practicing spiritual life is the means to happiness. Because everything else is a game and a dream. And if we get too caught up in the game, like you play a video game, right? Video games are fun. Anyone like video games? Anyone like, okay, good. Manjari likes video games. Indra, video games. Okay, yeah, Sham, video games are fun, right? Life is a video game. But spiritual life is not a game. That's the game beyond the game. Because the game, there's a set system of rules, right? You play a video game, even if you play like, what's the famous game, like Minecraft or something, right? There's still some rules. But spiritual life means liberation, freedom. So we are trying to practice spiritual life by which we can achieve transcendental life and freedom. And we should understand one important topic of the Gita, and then we'll open it for questions. So we'll have a little kirtan, and then we'll open for questions. What are we now in this moment? Right? Who are you now in this moment? You can say the self, right? You are the self? What is your name? Aham. Okay, that's good. That's a good name. Aham means I. So he didn't say I'm Krishna Prem. I'll tell you an interesting story. Anyone want to hear, since we're on like scary stories? I'm trying to scare everybody a little bit. Someone want to hear a scary story?
Yes.
Scary story? Everyone ready for a scary story? All right, let's tell a scary story. Huh? No, that's okay. Scary story. There's a great king, king of the world, Harishchandra. And he said, I will never speak a lie in my whole life. And if anyone asks any charity of me, I will give it to them, whatever I have. This is the Kshatriya order. People say Varnashram means Kshatriyas. Warrior class, administrative, intellectual class, Brahmin. So a warrior has a vow. If anyone asks something of them, they'll give it. There's great warriors, right? If any lady says, oh warrior, will you accept me? Yes, I must accept you as my wife. Simply if you ask them, they are bound to do it. And so that's why they have many wives. Because many ladies like them and want them. Oh, so we can see in society, if there's real Kshatriyas, then any lady who likes them, they have to accept. There's no Kshatriyas like that in the world. Don't worry about this. This is an ancient time, right? You imagine some great like Hercules and any lady, oh, please accept me. They have to accept. There's a great warrior who said, oh, he had a kavacha, armor, and it was connected to his skin. Someone asked him for it, and he cut it off and gave it. It's nobility. Anyone asks you for any help, you help them. So Harishchandra was a great king, and he made a vow, I will always speak the truth, and anyone who asks me for anything, I will give it to them. He had a guru. In his dream, the guru asked him. He came and he welcomed him and he bathed his feet and he gave him a seat and he said, Guru, what can I offer you in service? He said, give me your kingdom. You have said you'll give anything anyone asks of you. Give me your kingdom. So the king said, I give you my kingdom. It's a scary story, just wait. Scary story. The next morning he woke up and his guru came. And so he bathed his feet and gave him a seat. And the guru said, you remember your dream? Uh-oh. Yes. He said, will you give me your kingdom? Yes. So he gave him the whole kingdom. That time he ruled all of India. Gave him the whole kingdom. He said, if you give a gift of charity, you should give a tip. That's Indian culture. Right? Tip giving, that's Vedic culture. Maybe in the West also. But this is Indian culture, Vedic culture. If you give a gift, you should give a tip. So if you get a nice ride and someone's really nice to you, give a tip, right? If the ride, Lyft ride, Uber ride costs $20, what do you give? $2 tip? So he said, you gave the whole kingdom to me, what's the tip? It's called dakshina. What's the extra offering? So he said, you tell me, Gurudev. He said, 10,000 gold coins. Is that enough? 10,000 gold coins. He said, okay. And then he called his treasurer. Oh, treasurer, Go bring 10,000 gold coins from the armory. And the Guru said, what are you doing? Nonsense! You already gave the whole kingdom to me. That's my money. What right do you have to take from my treasury, my gold coins, and say to give it to me, you fool? Oh, then the reality started to sink in. I gave my whole kingdom. What should I do? Okay, I'll try to work. I'm young, I can work, I can collect the money. I can collect the money and give it to you, Gurudev. Okay. So he went out, but his Gurudev said, I don't allow you to work in my kingdom. My whole kingdom is already mine. You want to work, work outside my kingdom. So he went outside the kingdom, and he started to work. And he took his wife, the queen, and his young son with him. It's a very scary story, but it has a good ending. It's a very famous story. His wife got a job for washerman, and he got a job, the only job he could find. He had no skills besides being a king. When you're not a king, what's your skills? We all want to be king of the world, but we end up as a barista. Right? Starbucks, that's my money, my bucks. So, he got a job in a cremation ground. What was his job? When someone died, it was his job to bathe them. I've done this service before in India. Someone dies, we're the priests, and we go and we help bathe them, right? And dress them very nicely. I've done some cremations in New York as well, but it's not like we do in India. In India is more beautiful because we do it right in the open by Mother Ganga or by Jamuna, beautiful holy river, and we build a beautiful cremation. Why? The soul is liberated by that. You put it yourself in the ground, the soul is still attached to the body, and so it stays there, it becomes ghost. So Eastern culture, we cremate, so the soul is liberated and achieves its next destination. So this is what we would do. We'd create a beautiful wood, then you put holy items, all the relatives come, you do prayers, you do chants, you give sacred items, you give ghee and incense, and then you light the fire, and you watch it burn, and beautiful fragrance of the burning body. And you realize this life is temporary. This life is temporary. So Harishchandra, the king, got that job. Every day. How many? It was a famous. He got the job for a very famous, like downtown cremation grounds. If you go to Jagannath Puri, where Lord Jagannath is, Swarga Dwar, it's called the door to heaven. The door to heaven, it's cremation. And every day there's tens and tens and tens. Varanasi, you go there, hundreds a day. And all the ashes are thrown in the Mother Ganga and the souls are liberated. So he got that job. And he couldn't afford to live with his wife, so she lived with the washerman. Some years later, one night, dark, he was trying to collect money to pay back his guru. Pay his guru his tip. Some years, 5-10 years. One dark and stormy night. Very dark. New moon, no moon, dark. There was a storm and rain and lightning. And he was on duty at the cremation ground, 10 p.m. And one lady came in ragged cloth, carrying a bundle. And she said, "Oh dear sir, I have come. I need to cremate my child. He has passed away." And the man said, "Okay, do you have any payment? Because I'm working for my boss. I have to give some payment for anyone I cremate." She said, "I'm so poor I don't have any money." He said, "Okay, you have to give something at least. So your cloth, rip off some of your cloth." She said, "I'm barely covering myself." He said, "No problem, as much as you can." So she ripped off some of her cloth and gave it to him. At that moment, there was a lightning strike, and it illuminated her face, and illuminated his face. And he saw, oh, it is my wife and my son. It struck his heart. And he thought, what to do? He said, "Okay, We are duty bound. I have made a vow to follow my words and to always speak truth. I have taken a vow to follow my word and to always speak truth. I have taken a vow to follow my word and always speak truth. I will do it. And as he prepared that funeral pyre for cremating his son, with another strike of lightning, his guru appeared, and the three devatas, Vishnu, Lord Brahma, and Mahesh Shiva appeared. And they said, "We are pleased with you, king, but we have tested you. We have tested you. You are saying you are speaking truth. You took a vow since childhood. I will speak truth. I will speak truth. What is your name?" And he said, "I am Harishchandra." He said, "That is a lie." "What is your name?" "What is your name?" "That is a lie. You are a liar. That is not your name. You are Atma. You are the soul. Is this your son?" "That is Atma. That is the soul. In this life, you are Harishchandra. What happens after you die and before you were born? You were not Harishchandra, but your soul is eternal." So they said, "We are happy with you because you serve others. So we have given you this knowledge because by this example, you will realize it in your life." And then by their potency, they brought the child back to life. They gave the wife renewed health and vigor. And he said, "Now I'm giving you back your kingdom. And now you should never speak a lie." So they gave him back his kingdom. So now you should rule your kingdom according to Dharma. And you should not speak a lie. You should say, "I am Harishchandra in this body. And I have my duties in this body. But I have my duties to God and myself, my soul. And I have my duties to my family to help them realize their spiritual nature. Otherwise, everything is violence in this world. This world is based on violence, right? We were on the car and we say, "You want to know how to go to hell? Go eat a hamburger." Why? Because some animal was slaughtered so you could have that on your plate. 99 billion served, right? And more. They said in 1995, McDonald's stopped counting. In 1995, McDonald's stopped counting at 99 billion. And so now they say 99 billion and more. Over 99 billion. How many cows were slaughtered? Watch a documentary on cow slaughter, and then you'll never eat a hamburger again. Not saying that anybody does that. But you want to suffer? You want to stop suffering? Stop perpetuating the cycle of suffering by committing violence to others. But what is another form of violence? There's a subtler form of violence. Subtle violence. Eat, drink, and be merry in this world. Enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. Every advertisement is saying enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. You walk downtown, enjoy. I know, we go to Times Square and we preach, and what does it say? Enjoy, enjoy. People want to enjoy. How? Take a picture with Spider-Man and Iron Man. We were in Times Square and Spider-Man's there and Iron Man's there and Batman's there, and everyone's saying, "Take a picture with me." And they say, "Give me money first. Take a picture and give me money." So you want to enjoy that? There's a cost. You want to dress nice? There's a cost. But that is not real happiness. That's subtle violence. All these advertisements is violence. Unless it says you are soul, you are Atma, you are spiritual. You should realize your spiritual nature and escape the cycle of samsara. That is compassion. So our Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada said, the only true compassionate act is to help someone escape the cycle of samsara, suffering. Everything else is subtle violence. So how do we not act violently? Love and affection. Our Gurudev would say love is our only religion. So more sins have been committed in the name of religion than almost anything else. More violence has been committed in the name of religion than almost anything else, because it is said that in this age especially, demons enter the religious orders and harm other people. And obviously we can see that in our time. So don't trust religion too easily. Right? They say 1 year, you should judge. Is this proper or not? These people bona fide or not? Why? Cheaters are on every street corner. What do they say in Western culture? Sucker is born every minute, right? Sucker is born every minute, and the other side of that is someone who sucks their blood is born every minute too. Sucker is born every minute, and someone who sucks their blood, right? Gamble. The house always wins. Okay? So our message is, sorry to give a heavy class today, I don't know why I was telling this scary story, okay? The purpose of the scary story is that his guru was helping him. Because ultimately, that king is going to die, and then what's he going to be reborn as? You run out of your good karma, and in the Bhagavatam, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lord Chaitanya says, one life you're a king, next life you're a beggar. All right? Why? Go to Vancouver, Hastings Street. Is it East Hastings? Right? Skid Row. And a block away, millionaires. And we don't want to see each other. Why? Oh, send the cops. Move them away, move them away, move them away. That's what the Buddha, right? The king didn't want Buddha to see suffering. But when he saw suffering, he realized this life is not eternal. I should realize what is eternal and escape this cycle of suffering. However, we have a positive message. Our message is that ceasing to suffer is not real happiness. So really, liberation is just the starting point of real happiness. That is what Krishna consciousness is. Bhakti means to be really happy. So if you have a pain, I stubbed my toe, so I go to the doctor, I get some pain medication. I'm not suffering anymore. That's drugs. I'm not suffering anymore. But go down that rabbit hole and find what's at the bottom. More suffering. So therefore, our Gurudev would say, what we think of happiness is someone's being held underwater, and then you lift them up and they breathe, I'm happy. And then they're put back underwater. Why? It's called the rat race. Right? You have to work. And this is happiness. Work is happiness. And then what do you do? With the money you get, you buy happiness.
Did you hear that you whistle while you work in all happiness?
So, here's a happy message. If you're working according to Dharma, you can be happy in it. That's why Vanashram means find your purpose. You can be happy in it. Right? But not alone. Family, love and affection. But at the center of your family, you should have spiritual life. That's our message. Okay? You can be happy in your Dharma. Are you an artist or teacher or yoga teacher or whatever your work is? Manjari, right? You're taking care of kids. Right? You're helping their life. You're helping give them meaning in their life. You should be happy in that because you're doing seva, service. According to your nature, according to your purpose in this life. You can be happy in that. But if you're only seeking your own happiness, you won't be. Because then it's always exploitation. But if you're doing service for others and ultimately the root of existence, Krishna consciousness, bhakti yoga, then you can be happy. But our message is ultimately that real happiness comes from bhakti. That means connection. Bhakti means connection. So getting out of suffering is not bhakti. Liberation is not bhakti. Bhakti is beyond liberation. Our Rupa Goswami, one of our great teachers, he said liberation and the desire for liberation is like a witch. He said, we're not looking for liberation. And he said, you want to enjoy in this world? That's also a witch. A ghost, a spirit possessing you. He said, realize your relationship with absolute, divine, spirit, God, either as all-pervading, or as in your heart, or as the personality of Godhead, Krishna. And that's the most sweet. So Krishna said, try to realize that personality of Godhead, Krishna. So the last few days we've been doing classes and we told sweet stories of Krishna. Don't think this is a myth. Don't think this is a theory. This is realized by all our saintly teachers, and it's realized by the practice of Krishna consciousness. This is a science. The science of self-realization. You want the result? Follow the process. So this is ultimately our message of compassion. If someone is going to put the fork in a socket and you say, oh yes, have fun. I was being compassionate because I didn't tell you anything that would hurt your feelings. But what's better, to not hurt someone's feelings or to watch them die? I don't want to hurt your feelings. No, don't jump. That's compassion. And then compassion is why not? Because love and affection. So our Guru always taught by love and affection. He said, don't control, only give love and affection. Love and affection is the answer. Love is the religion. God is love and love is God. So if someone doesn't love you and care about you, they're not your teacher. If someone wants to exploit you for something, they're not your teacher. If someone is looking at you like a dollar sign, they're not your guru. Someone who thinks you're a dollar sign is not a guru. Guru is someone who genuinely cares about you as a person in this life and as a soul in the hereafter and forever. So what are you now? What's your life now? What's your dharma now? How's your life going? How's your wife going? How's your work going? How's everything going? Problem solving, that's there. That's important because that shows that we care about each other. But ultimately, spiritual life is more than that. You are a king in your family. And your wife is your queen. But who are you beyond that? That is spiritual life. Therefore, we practice kirtan. So we'll end with a kirtan and then have discussion. We can go as long as you want. But don't be hopeless. That is our message also. Right? Scary stories are sometimes needed because there's scary things that happen in life. So scary stories help us realize how to navigate those situations and how to live in dharma. However, our Gurudev said something very sweet. He said this process is very, very easy and very, very interesting. Very easy process. Decide your goal and then a process will be there to achieve your goal. What is your goal in life? Krishna Prem, your name. Gurudev gave you the name that is your goal. Krishna Prem means love of God is your goal. And relationship with God is your goal. That God is in your heart and He's everywhere around you. You may not have faith, but that doesn't mean He's not there. He's not dependent on your faith or your belief. Right? How do you realize that? He said, if you want it, you can have it. If you want it, you can have it. That's it. As easy as that. If you want it, you can have it. That easy. But you have to give it time. Because your consciousness is attached to matter, and therefore it remains in matter. Right? Facebook. My face. That's what matters. So because my consciousness is obsessed with matter and all the things surrounding matter, then I stay in matter. But if your consciousness can focus on the supreme consciousness and your consciousness, then it can pull you out of samsara. So Krishna says, therefore I appear and perform very sweet pastimes, so that by hearing my pastimes you can become attracted to me, because I am the all-attractive. And by doing that, if you can think about me at the time of death, then you'll come to my eternal abode. It's as easy as that. Therefore, Krishna says in the 8th chapter of the Gita, Yang yang bhava smarit bhavam. That which you focus on, you can achieve that result. Right? If you want to get a good grade in school, you focus on the subject matter, and then you can pass the test. So this life is the test. And we have different results we can achieve at the end of this life. One result, which is the common result, is Sankaracharya Adi Sankar would say, Punarapi jananam, be born again. Punarapi maranam, and die again. No problem. If that is the result you want, that's the result you'll get. But if you want mukti and bhakti, then Krishna says, therefore you should meditate upon me. And at the time of death, if you think about me with love, then you will come to me. I guarantee this. Have no doubt, have no doubt, have no doubt. Ata urdvang na sangsaya. I will deliver you, have no doubt. That is the Gita. Give up everything else, sarva dharman parityaja, mamekam, and surrender to me. Brahmano hi pratishtaham. I am the substance and the source. I am the foundation of everything. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivisto. Understand that I am everything. Surrender to me, knowing that. So first we surrender, then we can practice bhakti. But Krishna is very sweet. We are in this world by our own, it's our own predicament we've put ourselves in. Yantra rudbari maya, we are circling around material existence like circling the drain. Until we're sucked out, and then we come out of another womb and start over. Life starts, right? And the bathtub fills up. And then some point, 50 years old, someone pulls up the thing in the bathtub. And then the water starts going out. And then it starts spinning around and spinning around and spinning around until, boom, we're out again and then we're born again. It's good. There's happiness and there's suffering. But if you want to escape duality of happiness and suffering, then follow spiritual life. And then Krishna says, Tadhama paramam mama, my abode is that place where you will never again have to experience that, because you're in the conscious realm which is beyond matter. And when you're beyond attachment to matter, you can be in your spiritual state Nayam bhutva bhavita vanabhuya. Your eternal state where you don't have to suffer. Anandamayo bhyasat. Recognize, realize your bliss. Right? And the beautiful message is that Krishna says you don't have to wait till you die. Iha yasya harer dasya karmana manasagira. When you engage your actions and your mind and your speech in bhakti yoga, then in this life you become liberated. In this life you become liberated. How? You always become blissful. Mahaprabhu said there's 7 excellent results of chanting this mantra, Hare Krishna. The 4th one is at every step you'll be blissful. That's the 5th actually. Pratipadam purnamrita svadanam. That's 4, 5, 6, right? First step is, by chanting this mantra, we recommend 5 minutes a day, 1 minute a day, 30 seconds a day, 8 seconds a day. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. 8 seconds. It takes 8 seconds. What's the first result? Cheto dharpana marjanam. The mirror of your heart is cleansed. You can realize your identity. Bhava mahadavagni nirvapanam. The second result. All your suffering becomes extinguished. The forest fire of suffering is extinguished. Bhava mahadavagni nirvapanam. Krishna came as Mahaprabhu. He said, in Kali Yuga, in this age, you're too foolish to understand all the Vedas and Upanishads. So I'm giving you 8 verses. Shikshastakam. 8 teachings. Follow those 8 teachings, then you understand everything. No need to study 1,000 books. Read and learn 8 verses and follow them in your life. Everything is achieved. Third result, vidya vada jivanam. You achieve transcendental knowledge that gives you life, jivanam. Then, anandam buddhivardhanam, cheto dharpanam harjanam, bhava mahadavagni nirapanam, shreya kairava chandrika vitaranam. Your good fortune begins to dawn. There's a long discussion on this. We're giving the essence. Good fortune arises. All transcendental knowledge comes. Right? Then, anandam buddhivardhanam. It's like you're in an ocean of bliss. An ocean of bliss. We see our gurus, right? Swami Prabhupada, Gurudev. They're always blissful. Always blissful because they're always in Krishna consciousness. Always pleasing and serving Krishna. Pratipadang purna amrita svadanam. At every step, purna amrita ashvadanam. You're tasting complete nectar. Pratipadam at every step. That's called yoga. Real yoga means bliss. Anandamayo. Anandamayo bhyasat. Anandamayo brahma. We are blissful by nature. Why aren't we blissful? Because we're suffering. Why are we suffering? Because we don't want to get out of our situation of suffering. We don't want to change anything. We want to keep everything as it is. I meet a lot of people and they say, I want to be happy. Are you willing to change anything in your life? No. Okay, fine. Continue as you are. Continue as you are. Add a little spirituality, a little spice. That's what we recommend. Magic masala. Keep everything as it is. Don't change your life. But chant this mantra. That's it. Then everything will automatically develop. But you have to change something. At least change that much. We recommend don't take meat. Don't take intoxication. Right? Don't gamble. Don't perform illicit sex. Why? It's not going to make you happy. Have a good relationship. Find a good partner, someone you love and cares for you and actually cares for you and be in a good relationship. That's good. That's dharmic. Good relationship is dharmic. You have a good wife, dharmic. Very good. But ultimately, chant this mantra. That's very, very simple. Our Gurudev said it's a very, very, very simple process. It's not complicated. Very simple. But you have to practice it, then you can see the results. Practice, then see the results. Okay? So let's practice it together. Okay? Krishna says this is the purpose of life. You have to do seva, and you have to chant the mantras. Alright? Atashi Krishna Namadi. Bhakti Rakshak Shiramar said that without service you cannot realize Krishna Nam. It's only material. Bhava, on the material senses, the pure name doesn't manifest. So how does the pure name manifest? Sevan Mukha Jivado, by living a life of service. Right? By living a life of service, by chanting these mantras a little bit every day. When you wake up in the morning, Hare Krishna. When you go to bed at night, Hare Krishna. When you take a meal, after your meal, a little bit every day. That's why we hear kirtan, we chant kirtan. This is very powerful, the most powerful. There's nothing more powerful than this. That is our recommendation. So we'll chant this mantra. Please forgive me. I just speak according to whatever comes to my mind. I'm like a madman, running here and there, telling people, the world's on fire. Okay, so don't mind me. But if you've ever suffered in your life, if you've ever felt pain in your life, then try something different in your life. Try to follow some spiritual practice, and it'll make you happy. You can find happiness in love and in service and in dharma. Okay? Let's try to chant a little bit together. Can you pass me the cartels? I usually give very sweet classes. Right? The last 3-4 days we gave very sweet classes, stories. I don't know why today I was a little heavy. Please, don't mind. I don't mind. I'm usually like the last 3-4 days was very sweet stories, but today, I don't know why. But let's bring the vibe up, okay? Don't be sorry, be happy. Our Gurudev said, I've come to make you happy. Okay, so let's shake it off, okay? Scary stories are necessary. They help us realize that there's more to life than just this material life. That's it. That's all we're saying. There's spiritual life. You're divine, but why are you suffering? Recognize your divine nature. Okay? Everything else you're doing can stay the same. Everything can stay the same. Don't change your life. Right? What is your life? Your life is your work, your family, your relationships. That's your life, right? 24 hours a day, what are you doing? That's your life. You sleep. Okay, 6-7 hours a day you sleep. That's your life. What else? You work? Everyone has to work. We're in Vancouver, right? We're in the world. We have to work. So your work, that's part of your life. So continue your work. Our teachers would say, do work that doesn't commit harm to others. So do your work, sleep, take care of your family. You got around? You going to take prasad? Okay, good. Go to work. Don't worry, be happy. Thank you so much for coming. Okay, that's your life. What we're saying is follow your life, do your service, take care of your family, love each other. But practice a little bit of spiritual life. That's it. 5 minutes a day. Start with 5. What we say is start with 5 minutes a day. If you have 5 minutes a day, then you can start our process. You have 5 minutes extra? Okay, she has 5 minutes. Shams, do you have 5 minutes? Krishna Prem, you have 5 minutes?
Only.
5 minutes. So with 5 minutes, we sit down. Let's sit down and chant this mantra together. Even without singing, let's just chant it together, okay? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay? So now we're going to do a kirtan together because it's very beautiful, it's very sweet. Afterwards, if you like, you can take some beads and you can chant yourself and meditate on your soul and your spirit and try to realize your spiritual nature and meditate. And 5-10 minutes a day of meditation. Then when you get taste, you'll do more. 15 minutes, 20 minutes. There's no upper limit, but the lower limit is 5 minutes. Give us 5 minutes. That's all we ask. You got 5 minutes extra?
Or 50.
Start with 5. 5-6 minutes. That's it. It's not so hard. And our Swami Prabhupada said, if you eat meat, no problem. Right? If you gamble, no problem. If you have sex with 50 people, no problem. But if you want to be more serious, then become more serious. But ultimately, there's no rules and regulation. You can do anything you want. Okay? Don't break the law unless you want to suffer the punishment. There's karma and there's action and reaction. All right? Kill somebody, you might go to jail. And if you don't go to jail in this life, next life you'll go to jail. Karma and action, reaction. But if you want to do anything, we're not telling you no. We're not telling you it's sinful. We're telling you it's better for your life to not do it. So if you can give 5 minutes a day, you don't have to do anything. Don't change anything in your life. But try to chant this mantra and see it and judge yourself the results after some time. All right? But ultimately, there's multiple parts of this. We recommend taking vegetarian food stuff, offering it with love to Krishna, and trying to study a little bit Gita, Bhagavatam, these scriptures, with devotees, with a good association. Okay, I apologize if I ruffled any feathers or said anything painful, but it's out of a mood of love and out of a mood of service. Okay? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo bolo. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo.